The woman reportedly owes money across 3 continents, has allegedly walked out of 5-star hotels without settling the bill, and yet somehow keeps turning up at £13,000 a day Swiss clinics and exclusive Irish spas, and nobody in the royal press pack can quite work out who is picking up the tab.
I mean, she began to take advantage of her position, which became less popular not just with the press but with the palace staff. She would go off on trips with charity she was involved in, but stay much longer than she was supposed to. She would go and stay with people. She would have staff there and require them to be on hand, and then at the last minute, having cooked meals for her, she would decide to go to a restaurant, for example. She would come back late at night from parties.
Welcome to Crown Tea, and today we are pouring every last drop. Hello everyone, my name is George. If you are new here and you love your royal news served sharp, warm and without the waffle, please hit that subscribe button. Now, let us set the scene properly, because context here is absolutely everything. Since her brief, rather tense-looking appearance at granddaughter Athena's christening at St. James's Palace on the 12th of December, Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York, now 66, has essentially vanished from public life. And given what has been swirling around her name since the United States Justice Department released millions of the so-called Epstein files, that disappearance is not particularly surprising. What is surprising, or perhaps not surprising at all if you've been paying attention, is the rather lavish nature of that disappearance. According to reporting by the Daily Mail, Sarah has reportedly been sheltering at the world-renowned Paracelsus Recovery Clinic in Zurich, Switzerland, a facility whose rates are reported to sit at approximately £13,000 per day. From there, she is believed to have spent time in the French Alps, then reportedly made her way to the United Arab Emirates, and most recently was reportedly spotted at Ballyliffin Lodge and Spa in Donegal, Ireland, a boutique retreat that recently underwent a £1.5 million refit. 3 destinations, all of them discreet, all of them expensive, and all of this amid a scandal that has reportedly dried up most of her public-facing income streams. So the question Crown Tea is asking today is a simple but deeply compelling one. How on earth is she paying for it? To understand that question, you really have to understand Sarah Ferguson's long and thoroughly documented relationship with money, because royal historian Andrew Lownie literally wrote the book on it, the book being entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, and it makes for extraordinary reading. According to Lownie, one source told him that Sarah would, quote, just breeze out of the Four Seasons and the Palace in New York as if she was too important to pay, with large room service bills allegedly being left behind on more occasions than one. The same sources reportedly described a woman who thought nothing of arriving at an airport with 25 cases, allegedly paying anywhere between £800 and £4,000 in excess baggage fees on a single trip, with reportedly 5 of those cases dedicated entirely to toiletries and makeup, and another used solely for clothes hangers, not clothes, just the hangers. And then there is the butler allegedly required to be up at 4:30 in the morning specifically to put watercress on ice so that it was perfectly chilled for her Grace's breakfast. 3 separate breakfast table arrangements laid out each morning, according to Lownie's sources, so that she could choose which setting suited her mood. This is not a woman who has historically suffered a lifestyle below her perceived station, regardless of whether the funds were actually there to support it.
And here is where the pattern becomes genuinely fascinating from a media analysis perspective, because Lownie makes a specific and well-documented point. Sarah Ferguson's response to crisis has consistently and almost without exception been, go on holiday. After the notorious 2010 News of the World scandal, in which she was filmed apparently offering cash for access services connected to her then ex-husband, Prince Andrew, and that is confirmed, it was widely reported and she later publicly acknowledged it. She reportedly left the United Kingdom and embarked on what Lownie describes as 8 separate foreign trips over one summer alone. Soto Grande, a £1,500 a night Portuguese spa resort, 3 weeks on a billionaire's ranch in Connecticut, Montecito, Hawaii with Lisa Marie Presley, Malaga, Richard Branson's Necker Island, and then a 75th birthday party for hotel magnate Sol Kerzner in Sardinia. All of this while reportedly carrying debts that were, by multiple accounts, entirely unsustainable. The pattern, when laid out chronologically like that, is genuinely staggering. Now, fast forward to today, and the Epstein files have made things considerably more complicated for Sarah. The released emails, and these are publicly reported documents from court proceedings, reportedly show her pleading with Jeffrey Epstein to help pay off her debts, at one point allegedly asking him to employ her as a house assistant because she desperately needed cash. This was, according to those same reported emails, at a time when Epstein was already under house arrest in Florida following his conviction for procuring a minor for prostitution. In another email, reportedly included in the same files, she allegedly apologized to Epstein for having publicly denounced him, claiming she had only done so to protect her career as a children's author, and described him as a steadfast, generous, and supreme friend. Sarah Ferguson has since said publicly that she sent that email in order to protect her daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, following what she described as a chilling phone call with Epstein. That is her account. The situation, as far as public perception is concerned, remains deeply complicated and is still very much developing. Which brings us back to the clinics, the spas, and the question of funding. Royal historian Andrew Lownie has reportedly suggested that multi-millionaires in Dubai and across the broader Gulf region, Bahrain and Qatar included, may already be providing financial support to Sarah. Lownie was quoted as saying that in Britain, neither Sarah nor Andrew will be socially accepted again, but that in the Middle East, the cultural calculus is entirely different. That reportedly explains at least part of the UAE visit, where she is said to have close contacts and, according to the Daily Mail's reporting, prospective benefactors. Stay with that word, benefactors, because it tells you almost everything you need to know about the financial model Sarah Ferguson has reportedly operated on for the better part of 3 decades. Not income in the traditional sense, but patronage, hospitality, and the grace of wealthy individuals willing to accommodate a woman with a title, a story, and a very extensive luggage collection. Ireland, meanwhile, appears to be something altogether more personal. Sarah has spoken publicly about the country many times over the years, saying in a 2005 interview that Ireland gave me back my life, and expressing a wish to eventually be buried at Powers Court House in Wicklow, her family's historic estate. She visited Donegal so frequently in the years following her divorce that locals reportedly began calling her, and this is wonderful, the Duchess of Cork. She posted a TikTok from a Donegal beach in 2024 in which she spoke openly about feeling overwhelmed and needing to escape to fresh air. A royal source quoted in the Daily Mail described the Donegal trip as fitting a very clear pattern, somewhere remote, somewhere familiar, somewhere the world is unlikely to find her while she works out her next move. The Ballyliffin Lodge and Spa, nestled along the wild Atlantic Way, reportedly fits that description perfectly. And while Sarah has been moving quietly between these retreats, the wider York family is navigating its own turbulent moment. Prince Andrew, who has not held royal duties since 2019 following his disastrous BBC Newsnight interview, was last week arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. He spent 11 hours in police custody on his 66th birthday while officers searched his new residence, a farmhouse on the Sandringham estate, before being released under investigation. That situation is entirely ongoing and developing. Andrew's daughter, Princess Eugenie, was seen publicly for the first time since the arrest, photographed in Notting Hill in casual clothing, grabbing a coffee with husband Jack Brooksbank, the kind of deliberately low-key sighting that speaks volumes without saying a single word. Princess Beatrice was last seen publicly in late January, out horse riding with her daughter Sienna and her father, a matter of days before Andrew was required to leave Royal Lodge. The ripple effects of this saga are reaching every branch of the family tree. So, what does all of this tell us, stepping back and looking at the broader picture? At Crown Tea, we are not here to judge, we are here to analyse. What Sarah Ferguson's story illustrates in remarkably vivid detail is how proximity to royal status creates a kind of financial ecosystem that operates entirely outside the normal rules. Titles open doors, titles attract benefactors, titles get excess baggage fees paid and butlers scheduled for 4:30 in the morning. And when scandal hits, that same network of wealthy contacts and discreet hospitality becomes the infrastructure of retreat. Whether that ecosystem can sustain her through what is arguably the most serious reputational crisis of her life, and it has had considerable competition, is a question nobody can answer yet, because, as we have said, this situation is still very much developing. But one thing we can say with complete confidence is that wherever Sarah Ferguson is right now, there is almost certainly watercress involved, and someone else is probably paying for it. That is your Crown Tea for today. We will be watching this one very, very closely. Hit subscribe and tap the bell. Crown Tea keeps the real royal intake coming, so you'll never miss a drop.